Hi, it's Wednesday, and welcome to the final edition of the Daily Blogger Techminute. I'm Hoff from Cisco.
Omar from Cisco.
Stuart Miniman, EMC.
And James Urquhart from Cisco.
So we had a ton of stuff that we want to talk to you about today, wrapping up from what we talked about yesterday, as well as a little bit of what's coming tomorrow also. We'll start out with Padmasree Warrior's awesome keynote this morning. Pretty fantastic,
I think so. I think she covered a lot of good stuff.
I think there were two critical things that came out of that for me. First of all, her conversation about cloud computing, obviously, really saw with the demo especially, so people got a chance to really get a sense of what it felt like to what cloud computing was going to look like from an operations perspective. And the other thing that I thought was really interesting was the way she connected the architecture required for video to the architecture that's going to be required to support cloud computing as well, and really show that there's actually a lot of juxtaposition and interconnectedness between those two problems. Something I haven't really thought a lot about.
She followed
we'll
up,
spend some time thinking about.
And she followed up with John Chambers' comments about market adjacency, vision, focus, what the three areas in terms of transitions are going to be from a market perspective. That really did it for me. I really liked her the way she painted the picture ultimately of the kind of these three transitions: the future of work, and ultimately culturally and technologically how that then influences the future of connected life, right, as just normal constituents of planet Earth, and then ultimately the future of computing. It was neat to see how that kind of weaved all together, matched to then how she proceeded with the rest of the roadmap. So that was very cool.
She had that one slide that kind of broke down private cloud, public cloud, all those kinds of things, like the secret decoder ring slide.
That's right.
Which I think a lot of people find useful.
Sure. I mean, there's been a lot of confusion as to what is the Amazon cloud model versus the private cloud model, and I think there's a lot of clarity now as to people are understanding that there are different cloud models and what makes sense.
And they can happily coexist. It's not a
absolutely. It's not an either or, but it's always the power of and.
Yeah, and the demo was awesome because looking at separating the fluff or the fog, as we were talking about earlier, from the reality of what you can actually do with technology today, looking at entire data center to data center failover examples, which is what the demo did, and then integrate it with the video and the telepresence. It was very, very cool. So Padma's keynote was awesome. We also had a fantastic super session from John McCool and Ed Bunion.
Which was the perfect follow-up because it took the visionary stuff and brought it back down to a more practical view. This is really the plumbing. This is how you're going to build it out. This is a product set, the portfolio. Also a nice piece Ed threw in there was really the evolutionary growth of the UCS and how it's not something just popped out of the blue, but really is a collection and an evolution of different technologies. And if you look at it, it's like, oh, this all makes sense. Why didn't someone do this before?
Yeah, there was, everybody kind of understands the whole vision now. It wasn't just FCOE or a server, but it's that whole end-to-end solution, and it makes sense.
Well, plus the business problem looked solved, which is pretty important also, which actually led to a lot of time we spent on panels, meeting with customers about the really deepening strategic relationship between VMware, Cisco, and EMC, how our solutions, our roadmaps, how we're listening to customers, and ultimately the feedback we got was pretty profound.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I really like getting to hear some of the partners and customers out there that have not only heard the vision, but they're deploying the technologies. We heard the question, how many people have virtualization really deployed, and it was a higher percentage than we had expected, and to a further extent.
Right, and I think the other thing that I really caught on to was that the people who are through the virtualization deployment and the cultural and technical challenges that come with that, through the automation deployment and those issues, are really very well set up and very interested in moving into private cloud. So really what happens is once you get those problems dealt with, then private cloud just becomes offering self-service capabilities to your end customers, which your internal customers, which isn't really that as big a deal. It isn't that hard to get that past the business and past the IT department. There's some technical challenges there, but I was very impressed with the fact that our prediction of what would happen with Data Center 3.0 is actually coming to fruition in some real cases for customers.
Sure, and to play off on the challenges piece, I think customers are looking for us to help them mitigate the risk in that. They're ready to move their butt off on it. They're saying, okay, we're looking for you to work together, help us do the integration instead of forcing me to do it myself.
Right, and they understand the architecture that the three companies are working towards as a common goal, which is pretty phenomenal when you start hearing the use cases both at the enterprise and service provider level.
Yep.
Right, it's really
Absolutely.
good. So we have tomorrow some additional activities happening, not the least of which is a really interesting social media experience with Guy Kawasaki coming to
Yeah,
to
and
give a
that
keynote.
kind of ties in as the conference ends. We want to keep the conversation going on all of our blogs, on all of our Twitter sites, and so no greater way than to end the conference than that.
Yeah,
And I think it's pretty cool too, just to really kind of. I'm looking forward to those video blogging sessions that have been going on
Yeah, those
too
are really fun.
on the floor, getting put together. I hear that there's both some really profound and some really hilarious things that have been said in answer to the few questions we asked there. So look for that too. I think there'll be some fun that comes out of the result of the show.
And look for the replays of a lot of the keynotes and sessions, so
Yep.
you can see the demos we're talking about. And please do stick
Cisco
with us.
Live Virtual. Cisco Live Virtual is what you're looking
Yep.
for there. So, okay.
Great, thanks a lot.
Thanks
Thank you.
everybody. It's been fun.
Thank you.